Elly De La Cruz, offensive struggles. I mean, I don't want to say have continued because he did have 2 hits yesterday.
Overall struggles continue.
Overall struggles continue because it's not just at the plate. It's kind of the full package right now. I get it. I've been way more critical of Elly than others just because I hold him to a different standard than everybody else. And it's a 162 game season. You're going to go through droughts. Criticism doesn't mean cut him, send him to Chattanooga, get rid of him, move him to the outfield, bring him off the bench. None of that. I just expect more. I mean, how many games are we into right now? We're 8 games into the month of April. He struck out a third of his at-bats in the month of April already. He's hitting 167 in the month of April. And yesterday he has 2 for 1. I knew when the bases were loaded and he stepped up into the plate, I'm like, all right, this is, he knocked a couple runs in. I was joking with Jacob, like, I'm going to get it for that one because he finally stepped up and knocked him in. But then he's been making a lot of mistakes out in the field as well. Just collectively right now, he's in a little bit of a slump offensively and defensively, overthinking a lot. Yeah. I think that when the team's playing well, he plays more loose. When the team's playing well, when he has guys who are hitting the ball, he doesn't feel – I feel like it's one of those – he knows what we know. This team stinks from an offensive standpoint. And I wonder if because he feels that way, he knows that Matt McClain's out now. There's no Tyler Stevenson coming. Gavin Lux has not been what everyone had hoped for. Candelario's not living up to expectations. As Elliott says, Spencer Steer has no arms. So it is completely up to Elly De La Cruz. You almost wonder if the pressure of him knowing I have to be everything is getting to him because he's pressing. He looked out. I mean, his last great game was when they put up, 12 runs against the Rangers in Game 1. Yeah. And since then, he's hit 167. He struck out a third of his 36 at-bats. And he just hasn't been very good defensively. Well, I shouldn't say that because this is where the advanced numbers come in and kick me in the butt. Elly's been – I got him. He hasn't looked good, but the numbers say he's good. What's going on with Elly De La Cruz in your opinion?
I think it's a lot of bad luck. I mean, his batting average on balls in play is terrible. His metrics, his underlying metrics this year, every single one is better than last year. Yeah. In terms of how he's playing, his expected on base, his expected batting average, his expected slug, his exit velocity, his barrel percentage, his hard hit percentage, all of those are 20 percentage points above what they were last year. Obviously, a much smaller sample size just starting this year, but. Yeah, I think it's a lot of bad luck. I also think he's in a very hard position to hit in this lineup. Yeah. Who are you scared of in this Reds lineup if Matt McClain's going to get scratched every day and Elly De La Cruz is going to hit third? I mean, there's no reason to give him a good pitch to hit. I don't think he's seen one in a week. So, yeah, it's very frustrating to see him struggle. We know what we need him to be in order for this team to be successful. It feels a lot like the Joe Burrow conversation from Bengals season. We require perfection to have a chance from our star players, and obviously part of that comes from Matt McClain being on the field as well. And if those guys that we expect to be good players, the few players that we expect to be good players aren't able to do it, yeah, I don't think this team has a chance. So has Elly been great this year? Far from it, but certainly 13 games into the season, I have very limited optimism about the Reds. I have a lot of optimism about Elly. This is where I'm sitting in the it's early, it'll figure itself out camp. Everything that usually, tells trends will be bucked in this is rolling in Elly's favor here. So
we were talking about it last night, Jacob, and I think there's a growing frustration amongst Reds fans regarding the errors. They see the errors, right? And I do think it is a fair point. Eventually, you can't lead the league in errors every year.
Correct.
We'd like to see that improve, but he is young.
He's also 95th percentile outs above average.
And I think, and that's what I wanted to talk about, because Elly De La Cruz is so good at baseball that I think, when he commits an error, people see it as lazy or whatever. They see it as maybe he's not trying. He's just so good at baseball that you don't even know what a bad play looks like from him. Yeah. It doesn't look natural. It looks weird. It looks off because of what else other stuff he can do, what else he brings to the table. And I think that's the frustration, and I understand it to a degree. But I will say, if we don't have Elly De La Cruz, you talk about a bad team, man, offensively. This team isn't – this team, no joke, they probably wouldn't compete in Louisville if we didn't have Elly De La Cruz in this lineup. So we could sit here and complain about Elly, but I'd probably tell everybody who's doing that, who's concerned about Elly, take a look at the rest of what we got, and then go back at Elly De La Cruz and say, oh, well, maybe he's not doing enough. You know what I mean?
I didn't say enough. He's not doing even what's expected, though.
He leads the team in batting average.
I mean, I can go to a classroom of fifth graders and brag.
Well, that was your thing last week. Was TJ Friedel leads the team in batting average, so he's the best player.
No, I was bringing up that TJ Friedel was actually in a stretch of games where he was the only one hitting the baseball, and
but that doesn't make him that like.
But also his numbers were also carried over from what he did in the 4 games in April. Look, I know we're going to disagree on this, but like when you say, well. But like I had a caller call in and go off on me and say, well, what happens when Elly finishes the season with 25 plus home runs and he's hitting close to 300 and all that? And I'm gonna say, nothing. That's what he's supposed to do, and he's not doing that now. And that's what the point is now. If we're gonna wait just till the end of the 162 game season to react to what they do as a player, then we'll just come back at the end of 162. As of right now, though, when you talk about all their offensive woes, we can't just ignore his woes because we know he's going to be good at some point. He needs to be good now, and he's not good right now, at least.
I'm not ignoring anything. I'm just not choosing to put all my attention on him when we've got legitimately 15 guys that aren't competitive baseball players. That's at least how I stand. If the Reds were, if the Reds were good right now, if the Reds were 10-2 or whatever, and we're looking at a team that's built for the playoffs, and then Elly's doing what you say is underperforming or
it's not what I say, it's what he is.
I don't care about numbers through 13 games when the metrics are fine.
Then why are we mad at other players though?
Because this isn't. I don't expect them to figure it out, and their metrics aren't good.
I've seen it with Elly.
Underlying metrics for Elly say he's going to figure it out, so I expect him to. Jake Fraley hasn't hit a ball over 200 feet in 3 years.
There is the argument that Elly isn't clutch. I've seen that argument too on Twitter in the big moments. But those big moments are highlighted because you're waiting out of the 9 guys.
The guy behind him will not do it.
You're waiting on him to do something. Like yesterday in extra innings, Elly didn't move over Noelvi Marte, right? He didn't move over the runner, whoever it was. And that's a big thing. I get it. When you strike out in extras with the man on second. But I tell people to look at, what is a guy supposed to do when it's him versus an entire world? And Kinder maybe has a point that Shohei Ohtani and Mike Trout, they're phenomenal on the Angels, and the Angels are trash every single year, and maybe Elly should be Mike Trout or Shohei Ohtani, but Elly is young right now to a point where you can't really say he's not going to get better, or this is not fixable, or whatever you want to say, because he's just so young. And I think that he's shown me enough to at least give me every ounce of faith in him. I think I have every ounce of faith in him. Now, again, when the routine errors start to be a play when the Reds are good, then we'll talk about it. But as of right now, when the Reds are respectfully terrible, I got 0 complaints for Elly De La Cruz.
There's one position player active on this roster that I believe in.
Correct.
Well, one. So
Elly De La Cruz doesn't fix the losses the Reds have had this year. They've lost 1-0, 4 times?
That's where I would disagree with you. Him having a typical Elly game and at least 1 or 2 of those 1-0 losses, win those.
Let's say he gets on second base. Who brings him home?
What's that?
He gets on second.
I'm not blaming him for these.
I'm just saying.
He also had 2 warning track fly balls in the Rangers series.
I'm just saying, if Elly plays like what your perception of Elly is, and that's what all our perception is, Elly gets on second base with a leadoff double. Who brings him home? I got 8 other guys that can't play baseball. Nobody's bringing him home unless he steals home.
As of late, they've had more production from the bottom half of the order than the top half, which is concerning. And I don't have bigger expectations.
As of late, before, they had only production from the top half. So
and they were winning those games, and now they're not winning games because they can't score runs.
Right,
and the one guy that you should rely on to at least put you in position to do that is hitting 162 in the month of April.
Elly De La Cruz is not going to score 100 and 200 runs this year, or whatever.
I'm sure he could score a run in a game, and when you lose 3 straight 1-0 games, that's the guy I would count on to put them in best position to do that. Nonetheless, I'm not saying I don't expect
leads the team in runs scored.
Well, let's say he scores the run. Who's going to score the next one?
Right.
It's going to have
also
to be
has
him
to be
again.
Elly. Yeah.
But that's where
so Elly's fine right now. He's playing great.
He's fine.
No.
I have zero concerns.
I want to make something very, very clear. My attention is focused on the majority of the roster of the lineup. I keep saying the roster. The pitching staff's great. My focus is on all of the names that I just read off who are all hitting 140. Gavin Lux and Jeimer Candelario have each 15 strikeouts and 40 at-bats. They are not good enough. Spencer Steer has 5 hits on this season. He's hitting 140. CES is hitting 170. I keep going down these lineups, keep going down the lineup that the Reds are putting out, and it's like there's no help out there. Will Benson, he's the hero, right? You call him up from AAA, 4 strikeouts, a golden sombrero on your first day back. There is no hero here. Elly is the hero. And to your point, maybe your definition of the hero is he legit has to do it all. But I've watched baseball for so long, and I've watched that stupid Angels franchise burn away seasons with the best players this world's ever seen. And it just isn't good enough. It's not good enough for Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani on the same team. It's certainly not good enough for Elly De La Cruz and who? Who's the second there? Who's the second? There's no Matt McClain. He's hurt. Tyler Stevenson's hurt. Spencer Steer's hurt. Who's the number 2 behind Elly? Who is it? We talk about the number 2 in the pitching staff being Nick Lodolo, right? Who's the number 2 for Elly De La Cruz? Who is that?
Is right now Elly De La Cruz playing good baseball right now?
Elly De La Cruz could be playing better baseball.
Fair enough. We can meet in the middle on that.
I just don't think it's even a talking point right now.
When your best player's hitting 162 at the halfway point right now.
Halfway point of what?
Of the month. I mean, like right now when they're in an important stretch of games where they're struggling, you need your best player to be your best player, and he's not being their best player right now.
There's going to be another stretch of games where he struggles.
So he could be bad because he's going to be good.
If he goes 162 games without a stretch of being bad, then he'd win the MVP unanimously.
So when he goes 0 for 4 on Friday, I'm going to say good game in 10 games from now.
Depends if he makes a couple defensive plays.
If Elly could go 0 for 4 all weekend, and I'd say he'll probably finish top 10 for MVP in the National League.
Well, when he starts playing well, then I'll compliment him then. But for right now, he stinks. He's
the only player on the team that's playing decent.
That's decent. He's playing decent right now.
Leads the team in runs scored, leads the team in batting average. Yeah, I would say that if anyone on the Reds is playing decent, there's not another name you could say if it's not Elly.
Elly De La Cruz, in my opinion, he stinks right now. He's a good player. He's a great player. He's an elite player. He's one of the faces of baseball right now. That's why he's on the video game. That's why he's on every Reds marquee out there. But as of right now, he stinks. Right now, I think he stinks. But the numbers show he's going to be good. So we're giving him a pass.
I would say 27 players on the roster, 26 are, pitchers. So position players, every single position player is worse.
I'm still taking him over all of them, but as of right now, he's not playing well.
But my question to you is, why is your attention on him?
Right.
When
he's
so
the star
many
player.
of them, huh?
He's the you're holding Candelario and these bums to a higher standard.
Candelario's the highest paid player on the team.
Then why are we holding him to a standard?
Elly, but like, and this is where I'm starting to lose you here. I mean, Elly has double the RBIs of the next closest guy. He has 12 RBIs, by far the leader on this team.
He had 7 in one game.
Yeah, and TJ Friedl had a 4 for 4 game that drives his batting average up. Like, you have to look at the whole body of work. It doesn't matter.
He leads the team in hits. He leads the team in doubles. I just think he leads the team in stolen bases, though not many this year.
Leads the team in OBP of those that qualify.
So it just, out of all the guys to highlight right now as to being a reason why they're not good, there's 8 of them that are who I'm highlighting.
So, and again, we're going to disagree on this all day. I've had a lot of bad takes on this show. I just don't think a guy that stinks right now. I don't think saying that Elly stinks right now is that bad of a take. And you're saying, well, he leads the Reds in this, this, and this. Yeah, he's the number 1 offensive guy while playing poorly on a team that has scored 2 or less runs in 7 of the last 10 games. He's not playing well. The Reds aren't playing well. Being the best on a bad offensive team right now in this stretch isn't good enough. Elly has to be better. He has to be what's on the back of his card. I know that's generic-y stuff to say, but he has to be better. I think we can all at least agree on that, correct? Can we at least say he needs to be better?
I would say if he takes the same at-bats he's taken over this stretch through the rest of the season, he would finish top 5 in the MVP.
And then he'll get my applause. But for right now, he stinks.
Yeah, we just view it differently.
Stinks is tough. I mean,
he's the best player on the team.
You can't say he stinks. You can say he can be better. You can't.
It's just, it's a nonsense take. It's all right.
This is a nonsense take.
Elly stinks right now.
He doesn't by any metric.
So he's playing well.
He is playing better than anyone on the team, and we're talking about him.
The team stinks.
Let's talk about the other guys that are playing worse.
We have.
If Elly scores 1 run in those 1-0 games, we don't win those games.
We do not win the games because Elly would have to be the second run and the third.
But at least we're saying, well, at least we're getting contributions from our star player.
But my point is,
it doesn't matter.
I think it's worse when you stink and you're not getting contributions from your star player. At least when the Bengals were losing games, you were still getting contributions from your star players, and then it was easy to say, well, you know what you're getting from them. You're not getting it from anyone else. You're not getting it from Elly or anybody else.
He leads the team in every statistical category offensively.
Okay.
That's my argument against it.
To spend time blaming the guy that leads every stat.
I'm not blaming.
This whole segment's blaming. You
No,
said we win those
you held
games
your
if Elly
nose
plays
and said
better.
PU.
You said we win those games if Elly plays better. That is blaming him for the loss.
I said that they're in a better position to win games if he does what he's supposed to when they have all these close games.
Same with everyone else on the team.
They're not Elly De La Cruz, though.
So why? I mean, I think that's just a crazy way to watch a baseball
All right,
team.
I'm going to hold Noelvi Marte to a higher standard than Elly De La Cruz moving forward.
I hold Noah Marte to a pretty high standard. He was a top prospect in this team for a while.
Yeah, he stinks. There you go. Now you can do it.